I am back to record another actually the first episode for season 10, episode 1 double feature of American Horror Story, and this first episode is called Cape Fear. Excuse me, I'm going to be like kind of glancing down because I had to do notes because it was just a lot going on. So in this episode we start off in the opening scene with Harry, the dad, Alma, the daughter, and the wife whose name I cannot remember. And they start off the episode with the daughter counting roadkill, and when she finally gets to number 10, it's a huge deer in the middle of the street, and Harry pulls over to go and investigate or get a closer look at the deer, and you can tell that the deer's neck has been like ripped out, and you can tell something had been kind of eating at it and it just hadn't been hit by a car. So he was kind of questioning that probably in his head. So we start off this episode. They're a family moving from New York, and they're moving to Provincetown, and they go and look at their new house. Okay, now the color scheme for this whole town and inside of the house is like a really drab gray, black, and white color. Like there is pretty much no color. It is not a colorful town. So it looks like maybe they're there during the fall or the winter time. It's actually like really depressing colors, and I'm assuming that that's how they want the color scheme to be because the episode is supposed to be like really dark and suspenseful or whatever. So the color scheme for that kind of ties in with the feel of the episode. So we find out that the dad, Harry, he's a screenwriter, and the dad, Harry, was actually Dandy from Freak Show. And the mom is an interior decorator, and she also played one of the nuns in Asylum, and she played Misty as one of the witches in Coven. And the daughter, Alma, she plays the violin, and she has a bright red violin case that, since there's pretty much almost no color in the scenes, it stands out so much in each scene that you see her violin case in. So they kind of move in. The real estate agent tells them about the house. The wife lets us know that they're going to be getting 3 months free rent because she's agreed to redecorate the house, and the owners have pretty much given her free reign, and that's her thing. She's an interior decorator. So Harry decides to take a walk to the local grocery store that's in the town, and at the grocery store there we meet Sarah Paulson, and she plays a character named Karen. Now Karen looks like pretty much like a drug addict. Her skin is just awful. She has sores around her mouth. Her hair is all greasy, like it just has not been washed. And you know, she's kind of portrayed as being the town crazy lady, and the guy in the grocery store was like, pretty much just don't listen to her because she's trying to warn Harry to leave the town, get out of there, and just basically is trying to warn him that the town is not somewhere where he wants to be. Also, when Harry's walking to the grocery store, since the color scheme is so gray and black and white, you can see that the porch lights are actually red instead of white. I don't know why that is just yet, but I'm sure we'll find out further into the season. So now the wife and the daughter, they go for a walk, and as they're walking past the cemetery, this really tall thing is waiting in the cemetery, and as he sees them walks by, he kind of starts walking towards them, and the mom gets scared, so she kind of starts speed walking, and it turns into jogging, and then it turns into her and her daughter pretty much full blown just running back to the house because I'm just going to call them bloodsuckers for now. Because the bloodsucker is chasing them, and he chases them all the way back to their house, and he's like on the windows, like trying to follow them from room to room. And they remember that the back door was unlocked, so Harry runs to lock the back door so that the bloodsucker won't get in the house, and the mom is just panicking. She just does not know what to do. They call the police, and they try to file a police report. And the police chief is the black lady who was the reporter in Cult. The police actually play it down and try to kind of explain the bloodsucker off as just a drug addict that was there to work during the summer, spent all of his money on drugs, and now he's stuck there through the fall and the winter time until the next summer rolls around. So they really downplay what happened to them when they got chased back to the house. Later on, the daughter, Alma, she sees one of the bloodsuckers outside of her window, and she tells her mom and her dad, and they are pretty much just creeped out. They do not understand what's going on. So Harry ends up going to go jogging along like the coast, and while he's jogging, he finds 2 dead bodies on the beach, and they have had their stomachs slashed open, and their intestines are just like hanging out on the ground, and they're like kind of on the edge of the water. He reports it to the police, and again, the police downplay it and they blame it on a shark attack. So this is becoming a pattern. Every time they're noticing something weird, they're calling the police, and the police are downplaying everything that they see to just say, you know, maybe it's just a drug addict, or maybe a shark attacked him or whatever. And he's like, isn't the water a little cold for sharks to be out during this time of the year in this area? And they kind of just explain it off and kind of just write it off and try to tell him whatever they need to tell him so that he'll just, you know, just leave the subject alone. So they end up planning a date in the one restaurant, I believe, that's in the town. And the wife ends up getting sick, so she's not able to go. So Harry ends up going alone. So when Harry gets to the restaurant / bar, that's when we meet the character that Macaulay Culkin is going to be playing. And I'm assuming the way that he came to Harry in the bar, that he's like the town prostitute. And he tries to come on to Harry, but Harry's like, no, I'm married. I'm married to a woman. Like, no, thank you. I'm good. And Macaulay Culkin's like, look, if you ever change your mind, you know, just let me know. So we also meet Sarah, and who also goes by the name of Belle Noire because she's a writer. And we also meet Austin, who is the character that Evan Peters is going to be playing in this season. They send Harry a drink, and he comes over, he introduces himself to them, and they pretty much let him know that they're writers also. And you know, kind of let him know that's a really good place to be for the couple of months that they're there during the fall and the winter time, to get inspiration and create these awesome novels and screenplays that they write that receive rave reviews from the New York Times and all these other famous places. So they kind of are encouraging him to stay, to let him know, like, you know, if you stay here, you'll really come up with some really good works. And at that time, that's when Harry shares with them that he's been having a writer's block. So Karen comes into the bar while Harry's there talking to Sarah and Austin, and she warns him again, like, get out of here. They are bloodsuckers. Like, get out of this town. And the lady's just kind of like telling her, like, hey, get out of here. Get out of the bar. And Sarah Paulson's character this season is just crazy. And of course, in typical Sarah Paulson fashion, she's definitely already cried. We're going to see her cry on this episode. That's one thing I feel like she's not known for, crying all the time. So we'll see that. So in the next scene, the bloodsucker, Harry's downstairs making some tea, and one of the bloodsuckers actually gets into the house and he attacks Harry, and Harry ends up killing him inside of the house. So again, they call the police, and they downplay it and let him know, like, hey, there's drug addicts out here. He's probably in here to steal. Don't worry about it. If you killed him, you had the right to. If he broke in, you killed him. It's whatever. So they're pretty much like kind of like losing faith in the police being able to help them, because every time they report something, they just write it off and just downplay it as if it's not as serious as it is to them. So we see Macaulay Culkin and Sarah in the bed, and I'm assuming that he's come over there to be a prostitute, and they're kind of in the bed together talking, and she begins to offer him money so that she can suck his blood. And he's like, no, the last time that I let you suck some of my blood, you almost killed me because you took too much. And she was like, I promise I'm not going to take that much. And she takes, like, I don't know if it's her nail or a razor, and she just slices his arm. And because he agrees to let her go ahead and do it, because she keeps offering him more and more money, like, okay, I'll give you $100, I'll give you $200, I'll give you $300, I'll give you $400. So finally he just says, you know what, fine, just go ahead and do it, just don't kill me. So there's a scene where Karen's outside and she's rummaging through trash to find food, and Sarah Cunningham ends up calling her, and she's like, look, you have 3 hours. So we see what she means by that. Karen goes somewhere and kidnaps a baby and brings the baby to Sarah Cunningham, I'm assuming so that she can suck the baby's blood, suck all the blood out of the baby for, I guess, a new fresh energy or fresh life or whatever. And she does it in exchange for drugs, because she is a drug addict and Sarah Cunningham has the drugs at her house. And she tells her, we basically find out that she's also getting protection from Sarah Cunningham so that the other bloodsuckers that's in the town don't kill her. Okay. Now, Harry ends up getting a call from Austin, because throughout the episode we see that Harry's trying to start this pilot that he has to write in order to turn it into his agent, and he's just not able to because he's having writer's block. He has not found any inspiration. So Austin calls Harry and invites him over to his house, and he tells Harry, like, look, I have the solution for your writer's block. And he ends up giving him a little bag with these black pills in it. They kind of look like really shiny black rocks. They're a little too big to be like jelly beans, so they really like these weird shaped shiny black rocks. I don't want to say pills, because even though they may be pills, they're just shaped really weird, so you don't know what they are. They don't look like pills. I guess they look almost like the shape of like blood cells, which is kind of weird. So Harry lets him know, like, look, if you take this pill, the only side effect is that you're going to have too much more money than you can spend, and you'll have more fame than you'll know what to do with. Harry's really skeptical. He's asking questions. He's like, what is in this? I don't trust this. And Austin is just pushing, like, look, there's nothing but good that can come from you taking this pill. It will just come to you if you take these pills. You will really have the inspiration that you need. These pills just kind of help you, like, really get super focused, and you'll be able to write. So Harry ends up taking the pills with him, and in the next scene they show them packing up to leave, because so much has happened that they've decided to move away from Provincetown. I gotta double check on that. And in the process, Harry gets a call from his agent Ursula, and Ursula is actually I want to make sure I say her name right, Leslie Grossman, I believe. She played in Apocalypse, and she was also the neighbors that lived across the street from Sarah Paulson and her partner in the Cult episode. Okay. And Ursula tells him, like, look, you do not have time to lollygag. You need to get this pilot in, like, yesterday. The publishers are waiting for your pilot. A pilot is like the first episode of a season of in the season of a show. So they are waiting for his episode, and he just does not have anything. And she's like, look, you need to figure something out, because we need that episode today, or they're going to start dropping you, and you are not going to be able to have this opportunity ever again. So he hangs up the phone, and he's really upset. And they end the episode with him actually just saying, you know what, bump it. And he takes one of the pills, and his daughter is on the steps watching him take the pill, but he does not see her. And that's how the episode ends. This first episode was a really good episode. I am really looking forward to this season because it just looks so interesting. Like, I couldn't even tell what the bloodsuckers were at first. They have like these really strange jerky movements, and they make them to be like really tall and creepy. And you know, they really talked a lot about talent in this episode. So there's like a lot going on here, and there's like so many questions that I have that, you know, American Horror Story really does a good job at answering whatever questions I have, especially by the end of the season. So this was the first episode. They also premiered the second episode along with the first episode, and the second episode, I cannot remember what it's called. I can't remember, but I will have that title when I do my episode 2 review. But I gave this first episode a thumbs up because it was such a good episode. It just drew my attention in, and now I'm definitely looking forward to the episode 3 that is supposed to be coming out this week, and kind of see how everything is going to tie in together, because they still have the alien element that they have not brought into the episode yet. So I'm excited about this season. You guys let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification so that when I make a video, you will be the first to know, so that you can go and watch my video. And I thank y'all for watching this review. I kind of want to hear what, you know, everyone else's thoughts on this episode, because it started off and it was really good and really exciting. So I am preparing to do my season 2. It took me forever to have time to do this review, because I have been working like non-stop for the past week. So I am going to stop here so that I can prepare my episode 2 of American Horror Story season 10. But I really like this episode. I swear I cannot say it enough, especially with it following American Horror Stories that just went off the week prior. So you guys, I'm just so looking forward to reviewing this season. I feel like I'm really going to like this season. I already kind of like the take that they're taking on the vampires. I don't want to call them vampires, because they're actually a little different from vampires, since they can be out during the day, even though it's a different season, so the sun is not like bright and shining on them. But I like the fact that they have the caps over their teeth, and there are certain elements of vampirism in the bloodsuckers, but it's almost like they're two completely different things in their own like little circle or whatever. So I don't know, I'm excited. I will see y'all next time. Good night, y'all, and just wait for my episode 2. It's coming up next. Bye.